Welcome back to That's How You Feel podcast. We got a special one this week for you. Our guest is the 2019 Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year. He was an FCS All-American and finished third for the Walter Payton Award. He is now the quarterback for the University of Washington Huskies. We welcome Kevin Thomson to That's How You Feel podcast. Kevin, thank you for joining the show this week.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, if you have to roast Beto at any point, you guys have some inside stuff. I know he used to work for you. I'm gonna say he worked for you. I know he was definitely if he was your bitch, by all means say it. It's all good.
Hey man, his services are greatly appreciated around here, so it's all love. You know, no one spots the ball better than this guy. So. Hey, I know Coach Heward used to get on your ass, but
hey, how do you get on someone's ass for spotting the ball?
They would just yell at him, tell him he's putting it in the wrong spot. Like, no, not that yard line.
Well, because he's originally a left tackle, so he wasn't meant to be center. That's probably what it was.
Those are good times.
Real quick, man. You're from Washington, right? How was it growing up in Washington?
Yeah, I'm originally I'm in Seattle now, but I'm from Auburn, Washington. It's a little south of here. It's great. I loved it. I love it up here. I love being back. It's been a good experience kind of traveling a little bit around the West Coast with a couple different colleges and whatnot, but I love it here. You know, I wasn't sure where I'd end up, but I'd be happy to end up here whenever, my career is over and I start working or whatever. So it was a lot of fun, really nice area. Just, your typical little suburb, south of the city. Nothing crazy, but I just grew up playing sports and I got two older sisters and both my parents, so it's great. Love it out here.
Family. So family's important in the Thomson household, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're all pretty, with my sisters and everything, we're pretty spread out in our age, so we were always kind of doing our own thing. We all did sports, so we didn't get to spend like a ton of time together growing up because we were always really busy. Like, my sisters were at practice, I was at practice. But, since being back, it's been super nice. I'm getting to see my family a lot and just kind of reconnecting. So, yeah, family is definitely important. But we all understand that we have our own kind of responsibilities. So we're not like the type of family that has to be together all the time, But when we are together, we, cherish that time.
And you're the only boy. I know the feeling, bro. I got two sisters. I'm the middle one, but being the only guy, it could be tough. It could definitely be tough.
Yeah, they picked on me when I was younger until I was able to kind of defend myself. And that ended real quick, probably when I was like 10 or 11. I'd say, that ended real quick. I wasn't going to let them do that anymore. But I think my dad was pretty happy to get a boy on the last try. I don't know.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't asked him about it, but I'm sure he was getting nervous.
Now, high school football. How was your high school football experience? You went to Auburn. You went to Riverside, correct?
Yeah, it's called Auburn Riverside High School.
Auburn Riverside. Gotcha. How was your football experience there?
It was pretty good. I kind of came in as a freshman to a high school that was not very well known for football. Like, lost a lot of games. Like, really struggled. Kind of at the bottom of the league every year. And but I was a baseball guy growing up. I always thought I was going to play baseball. So, I went in, I played football and I had fun with it and I competed and I did the best I could. And I, did my training in the off season, but, I wasn't like super worried about winning early on. I was just like kind of doing it to have fun, hang out with the guys and have fun. And then junior year rolled around and I got a bit more serious, but we had a really tough year. Like, we went 1-9 that year, and it was tough. That was my first year starting. I didn't start until junior year. And then going into senior year, we had a coaching change. We had our head coach was Brian Thomas, and then our offensive coordinator is Marcus Izagari. They still coach high school football up here. Still really close with them. They're great coaches, but we were able to turn it around and we ended up winning league my senior year. And then like kind of going into senior year, I started taking football real seriously. I was like, I want to play football in college. I just kind of had a change of heart for whatever reason. Cause even though we struggled my junior year, that's kind of when I fell in love with the game. It just felt really natural for me. So I was just like, I think this is what I want to do. And We worked really hard as a team, and I started going to camps and stuff in the off season, going up to my senior year, and then we had a really good year, played really well. We just kind of had really good team chemistry. It was a really special year for us, and we ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs, but I think it was still a really cool year. First title in the school's history, first league title in the school's history.
1-9.
So that was something to kind of be proud about, I feel like. So, it kind of like brought me and my friends closer. We still talk about it all the time whenever I get together with some of those guys here and there. A lot of those guys are out doing their own thing, but a lot of them are around here as well. So I still get to go connect with some of those guys, and, the lifelong relationships, that I built from that season and just the 4 years I was there is really cool.
And how was recruiting after high school? What schools were you looking at?
My recruiting process is interesting because I had absolutely nothing going into my senior year of high school. I feel like most dudes like now they're getting recruited when they're like 14, and it's crazy. But I had nothing, and then we won the first 3 games. I think it was after the 3rd game. We were playing like a team that was supposed to win the league. They were like favored to win the league, and we beat them pretty good. And then I was hanging out at my buddy's house, and I just got a call out of the blue from UNLV. Like, I had never heard from them at all. And the offensive coordinator was kind of just talking to me. He was like saying, "Hey, we like what you've done. You've helped turn the team around. We've been following you since junior year, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Yo, this is super cool." Finally getting some college interest. And then by the end of the call, he's like, "We want to offer you a full scholarship." And I was like, "Whoa, this is nuts." Like, I was not expecting that at all.
Right.
So I was with my buddies, and we just started going nuts. And I called my dad, and it was a crazy time, something I'll always remember. But that was my first offer, 3 games in my senior year. And then shortly after, I got New Mexico State and Idaho. And then I went on my visits, and I picked UNLV out of those 3. I eventually got the Idaho one pulled because I ended up getting a commitment from Jake Luton, who's with the Jags now. He just got drafted. So he was from Washington as well. So he started his career at Idaho before going to Oregon State. But yeah, that's my process. Pretty short and sweet, but it came really last minute.
No, I
always tell people, like, don't get discouraged, or but like seniors or high school kids, like, don't worry about the offers, like, worry about winning games and having fun. And if they come, they come. Don't, like, it's easy to get discouraged, and you got all these kids getting offers left and right, and you got nothing. But it never even crossed my mind. I don't know why it never crossed my mind. Like, I just had a ton of fun. Like, my teammates, the seniors I was with, it was super fun. All we cared about was fun and winning games. So it ended up working out.
No, I think that's an interesting and motivating kind of story, because you go from going 1-9 when that could have you could have been like, you know what, maybe this just isn't for me. But for you, you did the complete opposite. You said it motivated you to get better, and you come back the next season, go 7-3, get a scholarship for UNLV. Like, that's truly inspiring, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I never really thought of it like that. I just know that, like, I always thought baseball was my thing, and I think a lot of people growing up thought baseball was going to be my thing because I was just a really good baseball player. And then I kind of started to, as I got a little older, I had my struggles with it. Kind of, you get into your funks with baseball. It's really up and down game sometimes. And I just, every time I played football, I felt so confident, and I was like, I don't know, I got to stick with this. I think it's gonna work out. So I started, focusing more on football. And even though we had a tough year, I still felt like I was a good player, even though we struggled. So I thought, if I just hone my skills and keep trying to work hard, and there's no reason why I can't play somewhere. I didn't know whether it'd be Division I or not, but I was like, I think I can play somewhere if I just keep trying. And I had a lot of fun with it. Even though we lost, it was still fun. Like, it was still fun to go out there.
That's the most important thing. Why'd you pick UNLV? Vegas.
Well, so they offered me first, and I started to develop the relationship with the offensive coordinator and the head coach pretty quick. And then it was really going to be between them and New Mexico State, basically. So went to UNLV. They're like, hey, you know, we want you to commit. We like to start our class off with the QB. Like, you're our guy. So I said, yeah, just let me take this visit just to make sure. Like, I got to go see what it's all about, you know. And so I went to New Mexico State, and I just didn't really like the area a ton. And the situation at UNLV seemed real good. They were coming off like their first bowl game in a long time. Coach Houck just had a 5-year extension. They had a JC guy that was going to come in. So it was like their senior quarterback just graduated. You know, I was going to get a shot to, if not play the first year, the second year or third, and then get like 3-4 years to lead that team. That's kind of what was going through my mind. Like, this is going to be perfect. I can come in, compete right away. If I don't get it, I'll redshirt and get it the next year. So, and I mean, Vegas is cool. It's on the West Coast.
Stop lying.
Yeah, all that stuff was cool and all, but we know the real reason, bro. You're trying to hit the strip. That's what it was.
No, that was but the last reason. But you can't complain. You can't complain with Vegas. Like, you can't complain. So summers are rough though, super hot, but a lot going on. You're so dang busy with football though. You hardly even really get. If you're somewhat self-motivated, you're not going to get distracted by all that stuff. And I wasn't 21 yet, so. But it was cool. I had a good time out there. You know, even though I had my struggles and my injuries and stuff, it was still a really good experience. And like, one of my good friends still today, he was my dorm mate out there. We still talk all the time, like 3-4 times a week. So it's all about the relationships you build, I feel like, along the way.
Yeah, that's big. So you ended up transferring. Why did you end up transferring?
Yeah, so after my very first semester, so I ended up redshirting that year. Okay. Coach South got fired that first semester, so even after signing the 5-year deal, they still let him go because we only won 2 games my true freshman year.
And he got fired?
Yeah, 5-year extension, then got fired. Yeah, it's a tough business. I started learning about the business of college football really early. After that experience, that it's not the same as high school football. It's, you know, it's a business. Yeah, well, it's a business, and there's a lot of factors that go into a lot of decisions that get made. So, but I was glad I was able to learn that early. But then, so Coach Sanchez comes in the spring, and I stick around because I still feel like, you know, I can win the job and whatnot. And spring ball goes good. I'm starting to get a little elbow pain, but it's whatever. Kind of going to summer ball, I rest a little bit, and we're lifting and everything, and we start throwing again. I still got this like weird elbow pain that comes almost every time I throw, no matter how much I rest. But I'm just trying to stick it out because I gotta win the job this year. It was like in my head, I had to win the job. Like, this is my year. And then fall camp rolls around, it's going, and starts off good, but then I feel like I started to struggle. I'm not hitting the out routes. I got no juice on my throws, starting to, you know, wear me down mentally. And I'm just like, man, like, what? Like, I'm starting to question, like, if I'm even good enough to play, like, all this stuff. I'm just confused, like, having a hard time. But camp's kind of coming to an end. We got a few weeks left, and I know I wasn't going to win the job. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell them about my elbow. Like, I'm not going to win the job. I might as well get it checked out and everything, get the MRI and stuff, and it's torn. So I tore my UCL like right before my sophomore year, redshirt freshman year, whatever you want to call it. And it had probably been torn for a while and just kept getting worse. So I had the surgery like September 2nd, right before the season started. Just kind of sat around, tried to support that year. And then had to miss that spring as well because I couldn't throw for like 8 months, right. Like 7-8 months. I couldn't even pick up a ball. So the whole process was 18 months. So I missed that season, the spring, and the following fall. But then after that spring happened, I kind of sat down with the coach and we had a discussion, and it didn't look like I was ever going to get a chance to win the job even when I was healthy, because he was a new coach. I think he wanted to get moving quick, which makes sense. So it was going to be, I felt like, in my best interest to go home, focus on my rehab, and try to find a place where I would get an opportunity to play when I was healthy. So I ended up going home that summer. I was still rehabbing. I ended up seeing a doctor up here in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And then I started working at a gym, and I took that whole fall semester off. So fall of 2016, I was just rehabbing, like doing my throwing and just working at a gym. And I did that all the way until January, which that spring of 17, I transferred into Sac. But what happened there was I was working at the gym and I had nothing, obviously, because I had the elbow surgery I was still recovering from, and I never took a snap. So I had 2 D2 schools that offered me in Colorado, and it was getting close to, like, I had to make a decision because the spring semester is coming up. And I'm like, man, like, these are great opportunities and everything. Like, I'm thankful for them, but it's not what I want to do. I don't think I can do it. Like, I want to play at the highest level. I think I can play at the highest level still. And then really last minute, I got a call from Coach Wolf and Coach Sears at Sac, and they were like, hey, like, you want to come on a visit? Like, we're interested in, talking to you, meeting you and stuff. Like, yep, let's do it. So, like, that next weekend, I just flew down and we had a visit. This was in, like, October. Might have even been November. And then they were like, we'll give you a half scholarship, like, just books and tuition. And then if you win the job, we'll put you on a full. And I was like, yep, I'll take it. Like, it was an easy choice for me because they were Division I FCS. That was probably the highest level I was going to be able to get at. And since I was a transfer, dropping down one level, I was eligible immediately. I didn't have to sit out a year. And so it worked out perfectly. I was able to come in that spring, be eligible right away. And then the rest is history. But it was a really long rehab process.
So your process through rehab, right? And obviously you had to sit out that fall 2016. And then you went to Sac. What was your mindset going into, competition, going into spring at Sac State?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was probably a little nervous at the beginning because I hadn't been in that setting in so long. It had been, pretty much a 2-year recovery for me. So I was like, okay, like, second chance to prove myself. You question it a little bit, like, am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? Like, I'm not too sure. But then I got out there and I started practicing, and probably like maybe a week into practice, I was like, I think I'm the best guy. Like, I think I'm the best guy. Like, I kind of got the confidence back quick. I was like, because I thought, I wasn't too sure how I was going to go. And it was good competition and everything. And I had really good quarterbacks while I was there behind me as well that played really well when I was injured. But I just felt personally, I was like, man, this is like my job to lose. I felt like they were giving me ones reps and everything. So after doing that for a couple weeks, I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, I'm ready to go. And the season rolled around, and the first game was rough. My first game back was pretty bad. It was pretty terrible. But then it took 2 games. After 2 games, I was good. Like, I was confident. It took one good performance to get it going. But yeah, I just kind of luckily, my dad always pushed me, and he was not going to let me give up. I had almost quit a couple times along the way, like throughout the whole rehab. Like, when I was at UNLV, kind of wanted to quit. Like, it's gone through my head several times, being honest. But then I finally got to the point, and my dad was able to get me there, where it was like, no matter what happens, no matter the injury, just push through it. Just keep working, like, consistently working, just no matter what, don't give up. And, thankfully he was able to teach me that lesson. And it's worked out. So I've had my injuries, but I've always tried to just keep pushing through them. And
always bounce back, huh?
That's what I'll continue to do no matter what happens, whatever opportunities I may or may not get, just kind of stick with that mindset. It's fared well for me so far.
So you end up leading the Hornets to a 9-4 record your junior year, right?
7-4 in 2017. So we finished third. We finished third in the Big Sky that year, which at the time was the best in the school's history.
Talk about, kind of switching that program around, because Sacramento State is not really known for their football, would you say?
Don't look at me. He's the quarterback.
Well, this guy knows everything about Sac State. He probably writes the history books for them and everything.
Relax.
Yeah, Beto was, the key to our success that year. Really brought the energy to practice every day. He was sprinting out there, getting that ball set. This guy was a big key to our success. But I kind of came into a program I wasn't known for football. But I always had trust in all my teammates. Like, the whole time I was there, even though when I came in, they were saying this, people from the outside, not the team itself, right. People from the outside are like, yeah, they're not good, blah, blah, blah. And so you're like, I wonder, are these guys are there talented players? Like, what's the deal? And I got there and I was like, we got good players, on defense and offense. Like, we got some really good players. I was like, this is like what's the deal? Like, wow. Why is it such a struggle? Like, we had 4-5 really good receivers, a couple beast DNs, 2 All-American DNs, and some really good D tackles, and DBs, All-American safety, really good corner. So I don't know what the deal was in the past, but we just kind of started plugging along that season. I thought my teammates played really well. Coaches did a really good job having us prepared. Obviously, 7-4 is not great. It's good. Right. So we wanted to build upon that. But, I never once thought I'm coming into a bad team. This is going to be a bad situation. It never crossed my mind. I was just like, man, we got some good players. I'm just going to go into every game, try to win, just try to focus on that game, take it one game at a time. It's super cliche, but that's what I personally believe in, that philosophy, not looking past one game. But that season was super fun. I'm still tight with those guys, and I'm still cool with Coach Sears and Coach Heward. I still talk to them, even though the following season they got let go.
Well, let's talk about that. So there was a big coaching change. Coach Troy Taylor came in, ran the big Utah offense, right? He was with Cal before. He was from Washington, very well known offensive mind quarterback. He was a quarterback as well. How was it working with him? How was it that experience?
Yeah, it was great. So obviously we struggled, and I had my injuries in 2018, and then the coaching staff got let go, and Coach Taylor came in. And, right from the get-go, we had a really good relationship from the start, and he kind of put his trust in me right from the beginning. He was told me you can be the best, quarterback in the country if you run this offense right. You got it. You got, what we're looking for. And if you lead this offense and do what you need to do, you can be the best quarterback in the country. And so he said that right from the beginning. So I really enjoyed working with him. That whole coaching staff was great. The team, my teammates are great. I think everyone had a great attitude every day, coming into practice every week, going into games. We felt really confident. We prepared really well. And I think the coaching staff put in a tremendous amount of time studying our opponent and putting together a game plan that was going to make us successful, and calling plays that were, going to be open, and they took advantage of our talents as players really well. So I think it was a great experience. I learned a lot from him just in 1 year. But he knows his stuff. I think he knows his stuff. So, they're gonna be good. They're gonna still be good. They're gonna be wherever he's at is gonna be a competitive team regardless. I think he's that good of a coach offensively.
And you guys got a new training staff in too, replaced Beto with the long snaps. With the ball snaps. So that plays a factor too, right?
Yeah. We had to cut Beto. So
moved on.
We had to. They were looking for a whole new identity, so I had to get rid of everyone.
I thought he was for sure going to be a fifth-year senior, but it didn't work out, I guess.
Yeah.
So your junior year, you end up going off and setting a bunch of records and make your first playoff berth with Sac State. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, it was a super special year. One that I'll always, remember. I have a lot of memories from my 3 years there, even on the bad teams in 2017. But yeah, that season was really special. We had just a lot of guys that bought in. We had a great strength staff. Coach Dietrich, he spent a lot of time. He was always in the weight room for us. Like whenever we needed extra work or stretching or anything, he was always available. So I just think the culture around the program and the way things were operated there was really good. Like the players we weren't nervous to make mistakes. Like we had good relationships with the coaches. We can go in there, talk football. We can go in there and, shoot the shit and talk about life or whatever. Like it was really open. So it was kind of like everyone loved coming into the facility. And I think that's a really big, that was kind of the difference between, I'd say when I was at UNLV versus last year at Sac State. And I've just learned a lot being on a lot of different teams, like what works or what doesn't, and just from my observations. But when guys want to come into the facility, they're like eager to get into the facility because it's going to be fun and it's not looked at as work. It's just looked at as fun and like a great opportunity. When you're viewing it as a great opportunity versus, I'm going to go get killed today in this workout. Like I'm going to be dead after this workout. Like that's draining. When you come in, you're like, this is a great opportunity. This is going to be a ton of fun. Everything just changes, I think. So whatever I feel like organization I'm a part of in the future, whether it be football or something else, I hope it's kind of similar to that.
You end up getting nominated for the Walter Payton Award, which is the best offensive player in the nation, right, for FCS.
Mm-hmm.
Got third place. Talk about that experience. How excited were you? Were you juiced about that?
It was super cool. It was a really good, it was really cool to be nominated for that. And I just think it just goes to show the amount of work and the success that we had, as a program, top down. You don't get nominated, you don't win those awards unless, the people around you are doing the right things too. So you can be as good as you want, but if your team's not performing well, if your teammates aren't playing great, if the coaching staff's not doing their job, strength staff isn't working hard, then you're never going to win or be nominated for those awards. So I just think it goes to show like the hard work everyone else put in. And I was kind of at the forefront of that, being the quarterback and being kind of like the focal point of the offense. So I just happened to get a lot of the recognition, but
you also balled, though. You also balled. Let's talk about that too.
Yeah, I mean, I made some plays. I still had to perform well, but I think guys around me did a tremendous job. And there's just little things that you don't really see, like the O-line and the running backs blocking and catching balls and making plays after the catch, like little things that you don't see in the box score that are huge, that other guys did to help, me be successful. But still super cool, like a great honor. Trey Lance had a phenomenal year, no picks. Like he was going to win that thing hands down, but it was still cool to go and be a part of for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be 80 and be like, I went against Trey Lance. And hey, talk about Trey Lance a little bit.
Be like, I'm better. I was better than that guy. I got snubbed.
There you go. Hey, Trey Lance, what's your opinion you're a quarterback? What's your opinion about Trey Lance?
Yeah, I haven't watched his film or anything, so I don't have like a great opinion. But just from the numbers and the few clips I have seen, like, and just the success of the team, like he's obviously got it, and he's got the talent, and I think he's he's listed as a pretty big dude. So I think he'll probably be successful. You know, that program breeds really good quarterbacks over the last several years. Wentz, Stick, and now Sticks with the Chargers, I think, is like a backup or something. But and now Lance, and you know, I'm no draft expert, so I don't really want to get into all that. But I think he's a really good player and deserved all his accolades. And they obviously won the championship, so that's what's most important is winning. So you can put up all the numbers you want, but who cares if you win 3-4 games, right?
Right. The next one, the big one I have for you is, what's up with the black sleeve? Kev just got swag all of a sudden. Talk to us about the black sleeve.
Yeah, a lot changed since 2017. I felt like I had to mix it up a little bit. So, I started
the headband, the tie,
okay,
the karate.
Yeah.
I had to
little Daniel Caruso.
Karate Kid action. But I felt like I had to mix it up, and I wanted to like look good on the field. Before I used to be really superstitious, and I'd wear like the same gray undershirt, and like everything had to be the same, and it was pretty ugly looking back on it, like looking back on the pictures. And then over a couple of years, I was like, I wasn't superstitious anymore. I was like, that stuff is, in my opinion, is dumb. It doesn't matter. Like, it's all about preparing and how skilled you are and how ready you are to play the game. It don't matter. Like, superstition is pretty dumb. So I wiped that completely out of my mind, and I was like, I just want to look good. So I started like getting the different colored tights and the sleeves and trying to mix and match with the uniform and the custom cleats and stuff. So
basically like a my player for Madden, right? Your career mode.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I had fun messing around with it. I'm gonna keep doing that if I can. I don't know what the uniform policy, or if they're strict on things around here. I'm gonna keep trying to rock the sleeve and the tights, and maybe the one long tight and one not. Who knows? I'll just try to do something different. I'll try to do something different every game. So we'll see.
Hey, Washington has their uniforms are nasty. They're clean.
I haven't even seen them all. Like I haven't. I'm sure they are. I'm sure there are some.
They are definitely clean. Are you a visor guy or no?
No, I don't think I can do the visor, especially if it's like raining. I've never been a visor. I always feel like it throws off my depth perception.
Really?
And the natural colors of things. I just no blocking. I can't have anything blocking. Nothing blocking my vision at all, even if it's clear. I don't know why. Something that I haven't been able to overcome yet.
So you hit the transfer.
Maybe I'll rock one for a game though. I don't know.
One time, hey, what if it switches up things? You never know.
Exactly.
You ended up hitting the transfer portal and going to Washington. Talk about that experience. Why'd you choose Washington?
Yeah, it was a quick process for me. Like I hit the portal, had a lot of school to reach out really soon, and my goal with the portal was like everything really worked out in the end. I wanted to there's a lot of different factors, like some personal, some football related, that kind of went into the decision. But I was on my way. I entered the portal and I just started packing my things in Sac, and I was gone within like 2 days. It was pretty crazy. I'd been talking with my dad about it for a little bit, but kind of all happened really last minute. But I started driving home, and then a lot of places had reached out, but then Coach Donovan called, the OC here. He was like, we saw your film. We saw you're in the portal. Like we're interested. Like we want to talk to you. And I was like, I didn't want to make it a big deal. I wasn't trying to like be in the portal for a long time, because it was like mid to late June. I was trying to find a place and get in there and start practicing and learn the offense. So I just was like, yeah, like, if you think it's a good fit, let me know, as soon as possible, so we can work it out and I can get up there and start working and learn this offense. So they kind of went through their process, I'm sure, did some background knowledge, watched some film, really made sure that's what they wanted. But within like 2 days, after that conversation, they offered me, and I'd been back home for a day or two, and it was the perfect situation to just be able to come back home with everything that's going on, COVID and everything, to be able to be home, be with my family, and then still have that opportunity to go play Power 5, which is what I wanted to do, and compete for the starting job, not just be on team, but compete for the starting job. Like, this is a great opportunity, one I'm really grateful for. One that, like, to be honest, it's really what I wanted, entering the portal. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it was in the back of my mind. I knew the opportunity. I felt like the opportunity was there. I felt like I could go in and get the job done and, perform and add value to the team no matter what happens. And, luckily it's all worked out, and I'm here now, and we're gearing up, hoping to hear some good news tomorrow. The Pac-12 CEOs meet, I think, and I think a lot of us are optimistic that we're going to be rolling this fall. The final date, who knows, but we'll wait and see if they make a decision. But I think everyone's pretty excited about it, and we're hoping for good news.
One thing I've always been interested in, because you talked about, how, you wanted to get somewhere ready and so you can get acclimated to the offense and stuff. I always wonder, like, when an NFL quarterback is traded or he gets cut from a team and gets picked up right away, how hard is it to pick up a new system? Like, how much time does it take?
I mean, it's not easy, but I've done it now multiple times because I've been part of like 5 coaching staffs in my college career now, something like that. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th. So that's my 5th offense. It's not easy, but you just got to put the time in. You start putting the time in, and every day, just you keep working on different things, each day, and you go out there and you run reps with your teammates and you're throwing the ball around. It comes a lot faster than you would think. So it's not really extremely difficult. Like, to perfect it, yeah, it's going to take some time. Like, to know every single thing and,
right,
and every check you're supposed to make, that's going to take some time. But to get the general idea, to be able to go out and operate at a high level, it doesn't take a ton of time. It takes reps. You got to go get the reps in. And then what I do is I just anywhere between like 30 minutes to an hour a day minimum, sometimes a little more if I need it. I just sit down on my computer and just kind of jot some notes down, go over the stuff, and then I pick it up real quick. So if you do that every day or try to do it every day, like after like 2-3 weeks, you feel really comfortable.
What's some of the most important things, obviously a performance, but outside of that to, get your coach's attention and move up the board as far as, being the starting caliber quarterback?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since I had to compete, but I think I don't really worry too much about trying to stand out or do like, oh, I need to do better than this other quarterback. Or I think all of it comes down to just trying to put the team in the best position to win. And I think I know what I need to do that on a daily basis. The consistency, studying, getting my extra lifts in, trying to lead by example, just the things that I feel like I've always done in my career. I'm just going to keep doing those things. And then whoever wins a job, whoever they think is going to help the team win or put the team in the best position to win is going to win the job. But like, all I'm going to do is just stick to what I know and do what I can to help the team get better. So whatever decision's made, that's what I'm going to do. Whether it's a starting quarterback or not, help the team out in any way possible. Help the other guys, the young guys, help share some wisdom, do whatever, it doesn't really matter, but I'll just, you got to compete. But that's more of like something that's in my own head. I'm not the most vocal. Like, I'm not going to be out there yelling, screaming, getting fired up. You know that. But I think I know what it takes. I think I know what it takes. And I've always felt like I need, like, it was more important as a quarterback to be calm, in control of your emotions, and try to keep that steady level of play throughout a practice or throughout a game. So I'm not going to try to change, who I am just because I'm in a new environment to try to impress or do this or that. I'm just going to stick to what I know.
Yeah.
And we were watching Hard Knocks, and they kind of were talking about, a lot of the rookies that are coming in, they don't really have the same opportunity because of COVID, you know what I mean, to get get something on tape, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad for them. Now let's talk about COVID a little bit. How was your experience with that? What's your routine? What's it like?
It changes, it's changed a lot as things have progressed and where I've been at and what the current situation is. Like when I first got here, we were just lifting and running for like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. That's all we could do. And then after like a week or two of me being here, maybe 2 weeks, we were able to lift and run, and then we were able to go on the field and do player ran practices. No coaches. So we'd go do 7-on-7 and like 11-on-11 as a team, just with the players out there, and we run through scripts. So like while all this was happening, we were doing like Zoom meetings, position meetings, and like going through the offense and stuff. So we've been doing that. But and then it progressed to, okay, now we can get the coaches on the field and get a little more organized and run through things kind of similar to a practice, but with no pads or helmets or anything, just out on the field. And we were still lifting and running. And then we got the news that Pac-12 was going to shut down for the fall, and they shut those practices down, and we went back to just lifting and running. And so that's kind of where we're at now, just lifting and running, waiting to hear some news. And once, news hits that there's going to be a season, like I think we're going to jump kind of back into those non-padded practices for maybe a week or two, and then start getting into like camp mode. I've heard rumors of like October 31st starts or November 7th starts. I don't want to jump the gun or anything, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. And then obviously personally, I mean, you can't go to bars or anything or like go socialize. So that's been, the toughest part, I guess, but it hasn't changed my life a ton. There has been some like family members have been affected, but like as far as my personal life, hasn't changed a ton because of it. So I pretty much just wake up and I work out, and then I'll go throw with the guys or go throw a little bit, study the plays. Like same thing I would be doing if COVID wasn't a thing.
Right.
Like the only difference is I can't, go to a bar here and there or like go socialize. So I got to keep the circle tight. What's up?
You remember we went to the Cantina Alley?
I went there like once or twice. I didn't go there a ton. Oh, when was that?
See what I mean? He was already done by
bro. Walter Payton, no more. You think he remembers little things like that? Come on now, bro.
It was me, you, and Joe.
Dude, I took too many hits to the head. You got to remind me.
My fault. Hey,
it's tough. I struggle with my memory.
My bad. You just mentioned it right now, but any advice? All right, let's get into Big Kevin Thomson. You're about almost 35. You've been college quarterback for about 40 years now. And what does it take to be a student athlete, a D1 quarterback at the highest level? What advice, what fundamentals do you work on every day? Just any advice for any young quarterback that's trying to come up.
Yeah, man, I'm always thinking of like what I would tell younger guys and whatnot. And I think it's probably going to depend a little bit, on the individual because everyone's different. But I'd say like really when you learn like how to push yourself physically and mentally, like when you get to that point where you realize like you're able to push yourself further than you thought was capably, possible, and then just consistently doing that on a consistent basis. So I didn't really learn that until probably like till I got to Sacramento. Like early in my college career, didn't do a ton of extra work. I would like kind of go get some lifts in here and there, throw a little bit, you know, on the side. But then once I got to Sac, I don't know what changed my perspective. Maybe it was the people, my mentors and my parents and people around me, but what was that?
Your process through UNLV, maybe a little fire under your ass a little bit?
Yeah, maybe just going through the injury and realizing what I was doing before wasn't working. Mm-hmm. So I needed to make a change. So I don't know if it ended up just being mainly me or just people. I don't remember specifically, but just something clicked mentally where I was like, I'm going to put in more extra work than I have in the years previous because what I was doing was not working. So I started lifting hard and then doing extra lifts, you know, going to the well or sticking around in the gym and doing extra stuff. And then I got on a set schedule, like I'm going to throw Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And I just stuck with it. I was like, I'm not skipping. No excuses. Like I'm just going to have a set schedule and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to do it consistently. So I'd say just consistently working. Cause it's super easy. Cause even I find myself like on a daily basis thinking like, I'm tired. Like I don't want to, but you just go do it. Like, and even if it's not your best lift or whatever, like the fact that you went and you did it anyways, you're going to get better. So I think consistency is huge, especially at the quarterback position. You just got to be a guy that's always there and always doing the right thing, you know, being early, not missing any meetings. And I think you realize what the right thing is. You know, everyone's situation is a little different. Right. Every team is a little different, but you just know. You know, it's hard to explain, but you just know what the right thing is. Like, I know I got to get to the gym. I know I got to go throw it. I know, like, I probably can't, you know, go out and drink tonight because I got to go do this tomorrow. Like, I can't stay up late. I got to do this. Like, you know what it is and you prioritize it.
Right.
You do that on a consistent enough basis, you're going to start to get the results. It takes a little bit of time, but you just got to stick with it. And that's the hardest thing because, you know, even as I've gotten older, like I'm starting to realize like when football's done, like I kind of see why people, the first thing that comes to my mind is like when people start to kind of get out of shape a little bit, I kind of see why, like they're working all day, like 8 to 10 hours at a desk and they get done and they're tired and they go like, I don't want to lift or this and that. But being able to have the mental strength to just get it in or the accountability for yourself to get it in, like it applies more than just football. I think it applies to a lot of different things.
Right. So, okay. What about so we mentioned a little bit about that fundamentals, right? So my Madden character player, I make sure he throws about 15 slants, 15 fade routes. So how many throws do you practice each day or like how many repetitions of each throw?
Yeah, I think in my training now it's changed a lot since when I was in high school to now the way I train and stuff. But I think it's great to have a coach or multiple coaches like to train with here and there. Obviously, you know, it's a little pricey. So like every kid may or may not have those opportunities. But to at least every now and then maybe get an outside person to kind of help you tweak your mechanics a little bit. Because mine were really bad in high school and I was just going out like 4 or 5 times a week and working on those in high school. And I videotaped all my workouts. So I was able to like go back and look at them and tweak what I needed to tweak. But now I still work on mechanics in the off season, you know, throwing mechanics, feet, positioning and everything. But as I get closer to the season, you know, I focus more on running through like the different offensive concepts and then just getting on the same page with my receivers. So it kind of, your training changes a little bit as you get to college. It's like less technique based and a little bit more focus on your individual offense, whatever that is. This is my internet connection struggling, but I don't like usually just throw through routes. Like I'll work on different movement type things or I do get some route work in, but it's not just like, oh, run 2 hitches, run 2 slants, run 2 curls. Yeah. Like I'm taking drops, I'm moving, I'm like running around a little bit, making throws that I think I'm going to throw in a game. Because you're rarely ever just going to catch a snap, take 3 steps, hitch and throw it. Like there's going to be someone in your face. You might have to throw from a weird angle. You might have to move left, move right, make someone miss, escape. Mm-hmm. So you got to incorporate that into your training. I feel like I think the best quarterback trainers incorporate a lot of movement into their training, not just stagnant throws. Like, because anyone can just throw a route, like with no pressure and not having to move. So
right. And
my training's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, so I think his throwing mechanics, his movement in the pocket's good. But I'm gonna critique you one thing: your quarterback cadence, bro, just fucking weak.
It's weak.
What is it?
180. 180, bro. Be louder.
Hey, we didn't even hit the.
Huh?
Hey, we didn't even hit the white 80 at Sac, so you're lying.
You need the Cam.
Hey, you're gonna hear a little bit of. Hey, you'll hear a little bit of it this year, though. Little white 80.
You know, Cam Newton, little fucking cadence, bro. A little bit.
Hey, I was just thinking about that when I was watching that game. It's funny because like we have that's the cadence we use now, and like we never used that before. But all the NFL guys hit it, the white 80, and they're all mic'd up, and it's hilarious.
What does that mean?
Dude, I don't know. I've yet to understand like why everyone does the same thing. You see that video of Mahomes when he's like saying like they were saying he says Helen Keller.
That's
like
really?
Helen Keller's hot.
No,
I didn't see that. No.
You got to see it. I'm gonna have to try to find it and send it to you guys. It was funny. I saw it the other day. Like there were a bunch of different staffs where before the staff he was saying Helen Keller.
Hey, so just touching about quarterbacks in the NFL. Mahomes and Newton. So, who are some of the quarterbacks you look up to? That right?
I've always been a big fan of Russell Wilson.
Guy.
Obviously, but dude, he's tearing it up these 2 games. It's crazy. You gotta let rest cook. They say let rest cook. But
that's what we're.
I've always looked up to him. What's up?
You guys staying in Seattle right now? Let rest cook.
Yeah, it's like the saying going around on Twitter.
Okay.
Let rest cook. Like, let him throw more. Let him, like, be a bigger part of the offense. So far, so good. But, yeah, him, I just always, like, from the minute he got into the league, I just felt like his leadership, the way he carried himself, and, like, he's just, ever since he's been the quarterback, they've been good. Like, yeah, we had, I think, 1 year where we might have been, like, 7-9 or something, but like they've been consistently good with him under center, like since he's been in the league, and I feel like that's really hard to do in the NFL. Like consistency in the NFL is tough at that position too. So when you got that, it's something special. I like Aaron Rodgers, just because I think he was kind of like sort of like the Mahomes before Mahomes. Like obviously Mahomes is a little more exciting, does a little bit more crazy stuff, but as far as the throwing from different arm angles and off the back foot and everything, he was kind of like Mahomes before, Mahomes took off last year or whatever. But it's always kind of been those 2 guys for me. Breeze, I've watched a lot of Drew Brees too, just because he's really technical. Obviously, he's under a lot of fire early this year, but he's still like one of the best technical quarterbacks, and just the way he moves his feet in the pocket, he's really active. So I've studied a lot of those guys, but those are the 3 that come to mind, probably.
Well, hopefully Russell Wilson takes it easy on the Cowboys this weekend because our defense is banged up.
Oh, no.
He's probably about to go for 550 this weekend.
It's going to be bad for you guys.
Bro, we're banged up. It's not going to –
I don't want to speak too soon because I always – Seahawks, like, it's been a great start, but for some reason they always like to make things –
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to watch.
And that boy Dak Prescott ain't gonna be fucking easy to play against either. You know what I mean? He's talented too.
Yeah. That shoot, what do you think about all that stuff that happened with Skip and him?
Bro, I can't believe Skip said that.
I know, that's pretty wild. I mean, I'm glad it was cool that he spoke up and said something, but I I mean, unfortunately, like those are the types of reactions you're going to get from some people. And, it's sad, but like those are the things that prevent people from wanting to even be vocal about it. Cause you don't even, that exact reason, like, you want your quarterback of your team, like, to be vulnerable and weak and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that people fear. Like, no athlete wants to speak, because that's what everyone is thinking in their head. Even if it's not true, like, even if you're gonna get overwhelming support, like, you're thinking, like, I can't say anything. Like, people are gonna think, like, I gotta lead this team. I can't be vulnerable or weak or this and that. So it was cool for him to say something, and I think a lot of people had his back, which was cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was I think you're giving a good point from an athlete, but as a male too, as a man, we try not to be as vulnerable. And for him to talk about his mental health and what he went through, man, kudos to him. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you've seen that clip too with Hayden Hurst and Dak afterwards.
I did. I just saw that. Right? Yeah, that's cool. They'll probably end up doing something together, I'm sure.
Hopefully, man.
So, yeah, that's good to see.
All right, so it's game day. You're playing the Trojans. Talk about what's your routine. What's on your playlist? You take naps. A certain meal every game day. What is it?
Yeah, so it's kind of it's all dependent on the schedule. If I were to run you through like what I would do at Sac, and also it kind of depends on what time you play, and if it's a home or away game. But usually I would we'd get there in the morning early. We'd do our walkthrough, watch a little film of the opponent. That might take like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you're done by 10 or so. And then I would go get a Subway sandwich, turkey, pretty basic. Mm-hmm. Every game though, I would do this. Get a Subway sandwich, go eat it, and then I'd go sleep for like 2 hours, maybe 2 hours or so. And then we'd have to be back for pregame meal at 2 or 2:30. So I'd get up, have a shower, and then head over to the field, get there at like 2:15 or whatever, do the pregame meal. And like all pregame meal, I'm just bumping tunes, like kind of keeping to myself, not saying much or doing anything, eating. And then
what's on the tunes? What do you got?
I mean, a lot of Chief Keef.
Chief Keef, really?
Yeah, this rap.
That's the last person I would have thought, bro.
I know. I have just a lot of I don't have a game playlist. I just start I'll just play one song and then just kind of shuffle through because it's Spotify. But I really like Chief Keef. I was listening in Lil Wayne, listening to them since high school. Those were guys that used to get me hyped, like Gucci Mane and stuff. It's harder rap music. Harder rap music gets me kind of pumped up.
The type of music that makes you want to go fucking rob a bank or something, huh?
Yeah, just get really aggressive. anything that's yelling at me or getting fired up, that's the kind of music I like pregame. But I can't listen to any soft stuff pregame. I know some people listen to way more laid back music, which is super strange to me.
I'm one of those guys.
You like that?
Yeah, when I'm lifting, I have to listen to R&B music to calm me down.
Or is soccer men's leagues?
Well, the pre-workout's already hitting, bro. I need to be calmed down.
When you want to build upon it, the pre-workout's hitting, let's go.
That's really so I want to relax.
Too much?
I want my mind to relax, bro.
So you're balancing it out. It's not even working.
Exactly. I'm a big balance guy.
It's not even working, he said.
I'm the opposite. But to each his own. Whatever works for you. It's all about what works for you. But then, hit the pregame meal, and then we kind of do our walkthrough, and then I get out on the field as early as I can, get my arm loose, and then I come back in the locker room and chill for a while. As soon as I get in the locker room, I get dressed. While everyone's kind of chilling or getting their ankles taped, I just throw my pants on and I go out and I start throwing because I want to get loose really early. And then I'll kind of roll out a little bit, just kind of get stretched out. But then I go right back to the locker room and I just chill for a bit with the music until they call us out. And once they call us out, it's go time. But Nothing special. Probably just the Subway sandwich is the main thing. Like I used to just always get the Subway sandwich on the way. That's a superstition. That's a superstition. I guess I do still have some superstitions.
Right.
But I've kicked some of them, but I still have some for whatever reason. Who knows?
So are we still rocking the sleeve this year if it happens?
Yeah, I'll wear the sleeve for sure.
Oh.
I have to wear the sleeve. I think it helps protect my elbow too, which I like.
Yeah.
Because that's the elbow I had surgery on. And last year, I couldn't slide. I always had to dive. That was like Coach Taylor's philosophy. So I'm so used to, because you lose a little bit of yards when you slide because you're down where you start your slide. Whereas if you dive, you're getting like a couple extra yards. So I'm so used to
getting ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so used to it now. I'm sure they're gonna get me back to sliding, but I kind of like diving forward. But the elbow pad helps. I feel like when you're diving forward. So I'll just stick with it.
So you talked about a little bit. You watch film, the day of. What's some of the things you look at when you're watching film? You look at tendencies? You're looking at what? Because for me, I don't know nothing about that stuff. Bethel probably knows a little bit more. But
what used to watch film all the time, bro.
Oh yeah, help them out.
Probably the biggest thing is like tendencies, just to give yourself an idea of what they're going to be doing in a certain situation. So you really look at like, what do they do on first down? What are they doing on third and long, third and short? Like things like that. What are they doing? What are their main coverages in the red zone? Like from the 25 to the 10, from the 10 to the goal line. Are they playing like, if you're on the 5 and in, are they going to be like playing zero or blitzing a ton? So like the coaches do a lot of that preparation throughout the week, and then they relay it on to us, and we watch that film and we take in what they say. So they're the main ones who are kind of doing that during the week, figuring out the tendencies, and then they relay the information on to us. So yeah, in our free time, we want to like try to pick up as much as we can, but that's kind of their deal. They see the tendencies and then they tell us, and we're just like, okay, like that's what they're going to do. But we try to pick up on some stuff as well. But those are the main things, honestly. People get into like technique or DBs, like this DB does this when he's playing man or this and that. I think that's a little bit, you can
cloud your head up a little bit too much, right? When you think
depending on who you ask, like there's a point when it's too much, I think. So you gotta, if you're capable of operating like that and you're super cerebral and that works for you, that's great. For me, I don't want to get that specific. That's a little too specific for me. I don't want to be thinking too much when I'm playing. I want to know exactly like what I'm doing to where it's like second nature, and that's where the reps come in and learning the offense and everything. But I watch my film all during the week, and I soak it up, and then when I'm out there, I'm not trying to think about any of that stuff or look for any of those tiny little things. I'm just kind of playing, and I want it to be really natural. Because I feel like when you think too much, you make too many mistakes. And I think it's with every sport, thinking too much is going to kill you.
So Bethel, what are you going to do? Because he's a big Trojan fan, USC. So what are you going to do when they play Washington? Who are you going to go for? You gonna go against your boy? What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
All day?
Why not?
Oh, you gotta mark that one on your calendar now.
I respect it. Well, I'm waiting for the schedule to get released, but yeah, for sure. I respect that. I wouldn't want it any other way. I can't wait.
There he goes. There he fucking goes. All right.
When the game's over, the first thing I'm gonna do is FaceTime.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, but as soon as you fucking take that out, I'm going to FaceTime you.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, Kev. Moving along. So on this That's How You Feel podcast, we have What's Happening questions. You ready? So it's either this one or that one. Very simple, all right?
What's happening? Let's go.
What's happening? Living in Sac or Vegas?
Sac.
What hurts more, throwing a pick six or getting blindsided?
Physically blindsided. But that pick, I've only thrown one pick six. It was pretty shitty, but we won. So, but I guess blindsided.
Go ahead, ask him one.
Rushing for a touchdown or throwing the touchdown?
Throwing. I'd rather throw for sure.
Yeah, right. Crazy Legs going crazy.
I know. I was looking at your stats. You run on the ground a lot too, bro.
I love running, but when you throw like a dime ball and it just spins out of your hand, like I feel so nice. So nice.
Alrighty. Drake or J. Cole?
Drake. I respect J. Cole, but never really got into him.
All right, the next one. Who wins in a fight, a Husky or a Cougar?
A Husky. Come on,
Why
man.
is that?
Hey, self-explanatory. Hey, shoot. Yeah, Cougars are weak, man. Come on.
Let's go. All right. What are you spending more time on, Twitter or Instagram?
Oh, Twitter. Twitter is hilarious.
Crazy, huh?
Dude, Twitter is my number one source for comedy. I send Joe tweets every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like, I laugh out loud at least minimum 3 times a day from going on Twitter. I should probably delete it. I'm on it too much. It's too funny.
That's all of us. So heads or tails on a coin flip?
Whatever I'm feeling. I'm pretty successful on the coin flips, but I've done both.
Really? What's your ratio on that? Because you sound pretty confident.
I don't have a specific ratio. I guess if I had to pick, I'm going to go with tails. But sometimes I'm out there and I'm like, it's heads. It's going to be heads for sure. It just depends.
What do you hate more, wintertime in Washington or summer in Cali?
Wintertime in Washington. I love being tan, man. So I'm going to miss that when winter rolls around. I might have to get a tanning membership out here. I don't know.
How do you do with all the rain?
Bro, is that true? Like, the depression in Washington's pretty bad. Like, the rain, like, bro.
It's always cloudy.
Cloudy.
Hey, okay, the depression thing, no, it's not even true.
Overboard.
It's not. Hey, that's a common misconception. I don't even think it's top 10 for cities for depressed. I think a few places in Arizona and then Vegas and then like Anchorage. I've done my research. And then a couple places in Colorado. Seattle's not even top 10. It's gloomy. It's raining right now. It's cloudy and raining right now. Pretty good. But I will miss the sun in California. That's probably the number one. Right. Like, I love being home. I like the rain, but I will miss the sun.
Lake Tahoe.
I started getting
Lake Tahoe, just right there, an hour and a half away.
I actually had never been.
Wow, it's beautiful, bro. Lake Tahoe is beautiful.
All right,
I missed out.
Last one. Favorite throw to throw, either a slant or a fade route.
Fade.
Fade?
Nope. No question. Deep ball. Chicks dig the deep ball, right?
Facts. Even though I throw like 35 yards, but
hey, as long as you're accurate, it don't matter.
I'm the quarterback 3 in the Turkey Bowl this year, so I'm ready.
QB3?
Yes.
You're gonna have to sabotage, like pull a Chargers team doctor on a couple on the TPs.
Oh, just to get them up to that one spot.
Work your way up, or break someone's ankle.
That's crazy.
Bro, how crazy is that though? So for people that are listening right now, Tyrod Taylor, before the game, got a pain injection, I believe, and the doctor punctured his lung, so he couldn't. I don't even know what's the process after that. How long he's gonna be out? Bro, that's crazy.
And the CBA, you can't even sue your own team doctor.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty well protected, and there's obviously risks with anything, but that's pretty nuts. Like, that's the last thing you think is going to happen. Like, you fully trust the doctor. Like, I've never not trusted a doctor. There's probably been times where I should have questioned or been like a little, but for some reason, just because they're doctors, I've never been worried. Like, I never get worried when I go to the doctor. I'm just like, yeah, it's chill.
Yeah, of course.
They're about to shove a needle in my back. It's chill.
Yeah. Or a trainer, like, with the tape too fucking tight or some shit like that, though? Like,
the trainer is a little different.
Okay, it's not.
I mean, I've had some good trainers, but it's a little different when they don't have like the medical imaging or the the same amount of expertise as a doctor, or the same amount of schooling. I would imagine there's a little bit more error with trainers than doctors, but I don't know. I just throw the football and that's it.
Bottom line.
Yeah, that's all I got to do.
Well, Kevin, we want to thank you again for joining the show. We wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you get that one spot. Hopefully we get some football.
Sure. Yep, appreciate it. Yeah, tomorrow. Find out tomorrow. Stay tuned.
Tomorrow.
We'll be on Twitter, I'm sure. They're having a vote, so I think we're gonna be rolling, but see.
Yeah, definitely, man. And make sure you mark those Trojan games. Those are the ones you got to come at Bethel's heads.
Yep, I will.
Come on now.
Come on, man. Give me one of these.
Let's go for that dub.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. If you haven't already, make sure to follow our Instagram at That's How You Feel for all the fire content. We're talking funny videos, upcoming guests on the show, up-to-date news and sports and music, all that, and much more. Hey, yo, Don B, did we hit him with another one or what?
Yo, we hit him with another one.
Yes, sir.